Hi, this is Simon Phillips. This is I Love Networking. So from your perspective, what's the most important thing about networking?
I think that's very simple. It is just that you really want to know about other human beings. Everyone has a story. Everyone has something about them that is special and different. And it's only by chit-chatting backwards and forwards that you discover what those things are. Then if you discover you've got some things in common, or maybe you've done something I've always wanted to do, and I'm like, oh, here's someone who's done this and I can now learn, maybe get doors opened, maybe have introductions made, all sorts of wonderful things. Yeah. And that can happen in the supermarket as easily as it can in the boardroom.
The most important thing, I think, is to find people that you like.
Okay.
and quite often that'll be people like you. People tend to be attracted by people like them, and I think that makes sense on a whole lot of levels, because if you don't like somebody in the first instance, you're hardly likely to take the effort to get to know them, to find out how you can help, and then go on to help.
Relationships. Quite simply, relationships. You know, I talked about networking not being selling, and one of the biggest mistakes people make is try and sell to people they've just met, or ask someone they've just met for help immediately. Yeah. Build the relationship, build trust, build credibility. Ivan Meisner, who founded BNI and has written so many books on networking, he talks about the VCP process, which is visibility, credibility, profitability, and too many people jump straight to profitability or get stuck on the relationship and never ask for any help, but the relationship, it does come first.
One of the most important things is people, if they go into a networking environment and they think, oh, there's nobody here that's going to be of any use to me whatsoever, and they're missing the point, because you could be talking to somebody and it could be their cousin, brother, uncle, or neighbour or something, could be your absolute dream client or know them really, really well. And I don't think people often take that into account.
Actually, we're not terribly good necessarily at understanding the nature of networks. In our work, for example, you go into communities, just by mapping people's networks, you find out some very interesting stuff. And in fact, people themselves find the process of describing their networks and thinking about them and thinking about the connections they have got and the connections they haven't got quite powerful. And we found in our research that simply that process of mapping people's networks leads people to change their behaviour. They realise that they don't know anybody who knows somebody who could do X, for example, or that there's a whole community on their doorstep they've got no links with. So I think the first thing is understanding those networks, thinking about them, understanding networks as important things in our lives, in our communities.
I know it sounds daft, but it's the network. Okay. It's the people in the networking. It's not the events you go to. It's who you meet and how you interact with them when you're there.
Right.
Combination of meeting new people and developing and deepening the relationships with the people you already know.